Most people walk into the grocery store and think they are making smart choices. They grab what looks convenient. They reach for what is on sale. They trust the label on the front of the package. And most of the time, they walk out having spent $30, $40, sometimes $50 more than they needed to. And they have no idea it happened. I want to talk to you today about 15 things that are quietly draining your grocery budget every single week. Not the obvious stuff. Not the generic warnings about eating out or buying coffee. I am talking about specific products sitting in your cart right now that are costing you 2, 3, even 5 times more than they should. And I will warn you right now, number 9 on this list absolutely shocked me. I had been buying it for years thinking I was making a healthy, smart choice. When I looked at what I was actually paying versus what I was getting, I honestly felt embarrassed. You are not going to want to miss that one. So make sure you watch all the way through. If you are new here, hit subscribe right now. We put out content like this every week. Practical, no-nonsense information that helps regular people protect their budget and stay ahead of the curve. Now, let us get into it. We are going to go through 15 items that most people are buying without realizing how much money they are leaving on the table. Some of these are going to feel obvious the moment I say them. Others are going to surprise you. Either way, by the end of this video, you are going to shop differently. Item number 1. Pre-cut fruits and vegetables. This one surprised me the first time I really did the math. Pre-cut fruits and vegetables, the little trays and bags in the produce section, are one of the most quietly expensive things in the entire store. You are paying for maybe 5 minutes of someone else's knife work, and the markup is significant. When I compared a whole pineapple to a pre-cut pineapple container at my local store, the price difference was close to $3 for the same amount of fruit. A whole head of broccoli versus a bag of pre-cut florets, nearly double the price per pound. This is not a small difference over time. If you are buying pre-cut produce twice a week, you could easily be spending an extra $200 a year just on convenience packaging. Industry data on grocery margins consistently shows that pre-cut produce is one of the highest markup categories in the store. Retailers know that convenience sells, and they price accordingly. I used to buy pre-sliced apples and those little veggie trays constantly. I told myself it was so my kids would snack on them more. And maybe that is true. But when I actually started buying whole produce and spending 15 minutes on Sunday doing basic prep, nothing changed for my family except that I stopped spending extra money for no real reason. The practical fix here is simple. Buy whole produce and do your own prep. Get a decent cutting board and a sharp knife if you do not already have one. Prep your vegetables on Sunday and store them in containers for the week. You get the same convenience without the premium. You work hard for your money. Do not hand it over for someone else to cut a carrot. Item number 2. Name brand spices and seasonings. This one really got me when I started paying attention. Name brand spices, the ones in the cute little jars with the matching lids, are some of the most dramatically overpriced things in any grocery store, and almost nobody talks about it. I stood in the spice aisle last month and compared a name brand jar of garlic powder to the store brand version right next to it. Same weight, same ingredient list, just garlic powder. The name brand was nearly $3 more. Now multiply that by the 10 or 15 different spices most households keep, and you are looking at a pretty significant difference. Spice industry insiders have noted for years that the actual product inside most brand name and store brand spice jars comes from the same sources. The difference is the label, the marketing, and the packaging design. Consumer reports and food journalists have written about this extensively. I switched all of my spices to store brand and bulk section alternatives about 2 years ago. I genuinely cannot tell any difference in my cooking. My food tastes exactly the same. What changed is that my spice cabinet now costs me a fraction of what it used to. If your store has a bulk section for spices, that is where you want to be shopping. You bring your own small jar, fill it with exactly what you need, and pay by weight. Or look at ethnic grocery stores. Indian and Latino markets in particular tend to carry large bags of spices for a fraction of what you pay for those branded little jars. This is an easy swap with zero downside. Your meals will taste the same, and your wallet will notice the difference. Item number 3. Individual serve yogurt cups. Individual yogurt cups are one of those products that feel reasonable until you stop and think about the math. You grab a 4-pack or a 6-pack and it seems fine. But when you look at the price per ounce compared to a large container of plain yogurt, the difference is often significant. When I did this comparison at a major grocery chain, individual flavored yogurt cups were running about 60 to 70 cents more per serving than simply buying a large tub and adding your own fruit or honey. That sounds small, but if your household goes through yogurt regularly, it adds up faster than you would think over a month. Beyond the cost, individual servings also produce a lot of unnecessary packaging waste. And the flavored versions typically have a higher sugar content than plain yogurt with fruit mixed in. I made this switch about a year ago. I buy a large container of plain Greek yogurt and add my own mix-ins. Frozen berries that I thaw, a drizzle of honey, some granola if I have it. It takes maybe 90 seconds more than peeling a foil lid. My family adjusted within a week, and now nobody asks for the little cups anymore. Buy the big container, add your own flavors, and save the difference. It is one of those swaps that is almost painless once you do it. Your grocery budget has a lot of small leaks like this one. Plugging them is how you start to build real savings. Item number 4. Bottled salad dressing. Bottled salad dressing is something I think most of us buy on autopilot. You grab the bottle, you put it in the cart, you do not think too much about it. But the markup on bottled dressing is genuinely difficult to justify once you understand what is actually in the bottle. A typical bottle of salad dressing is mostly water, oil, and vinegar, with some emulsifiers and preservatives mixed in. The actual cost of the ingredients is very low. But the price at retail reflects the branding, the packaging, the shelf space, and the marketing. You are often paying $3 or $4 for something that costs maybe 30 cents worth of ingredients to produce. I started making basic vinaigrette at home a couple of years ago. Oil, vinegar, a little mustard, salt, pepper, a clove of garlic if I want it. It takes maybe 2 minutes, it keeps in the fridge for a week, and it tastes dramatically better than most bottled versions. The cost per batch is almost negligible. If you do not want to make your own, at minimum, you should be buying store-brand dressing instead of name brand. The ingredients list is almost always identical, and the price is noticeably lower. This is another product where you are largely paying for the brand, the bottle shape, and the label design. The food inside is not special. You do not have to make every single ingredient from scratch to save money. But this one is easy enough that it is worth trying at least once. Item number 5. Shredded cheese in bags. I know this one is going to be unpopular. Pre-shredded cheese in bags is convenient, and I understand why people buy it. But if you are buying it regularly, you are paying more than you need to, and you might actually be getting an inferior product at the same time. Pre-shredded cheese contains anti-caking agents, usually cellulose or potato starch, that are added to keep the shreds from clumping. Those agents also affect how the cheese melts and behaves in cooking. If you have ever noticed that bagged shredded cheese does not melt as smoothly as freshly grated cheese, that is why. Price per ounce comparisons show that a block of cheese is consistently cheaper than an equivalent weight of pre-shredded cheese from the same brand, sometimes by 20 to 30%. The block also tends to stay fresh longer in the refrigerator. I bought a basic box grater for about $8 and started grating my own cheese. The difference in melt quality is noticeable if you are making something like a grilled cheese or a homemade pizza. And the cost savings over time are real, especially if cheese is a regular item in your household. If you are cooking for kids or in situations where convenience genuinely matters, the pre-shredded bags are fine. I am not saying they are wrong to buy ever. I am saying that if you are buying them by default without thinking about it, you are spending more than you need to. A box grater and 5 minutes is all it takes to make this switch. Item number 6. Bottled water, single serve. I know you have probably heard this one before, but I am including it because the numbers are genuinely staggering when you think about them carefully. And a lot of people who know they should stop buying single-serve bottled water still keep doing it out of habit. Single-serve plastic water bottles are one of the most aggressively marked up products in the grocery store. You are paying anywhere from $1 to $3 for a product that is either filtered tap water or, in some cases, literally municipal tap water with a different label. Tap water in most American cities costs less than a fraction of a cent per litre. Municipal water quality in the United States is regulated under the Safe Drinking Water Act and is tested far more frequently than most bottled water brands. The idea that bottled water is inherently cleaner or healthier is a marketing story, not a regulatory reality. I switched to a reusable water bottle and a basic pitcher filter at home several years ago. I cannot tell you the exact amount I have saved because I stopped tracking it. The savings were obvious enough that I just moved on. A good reusable bottle costs between $15 and $30 and lasts for years. A pitcher filter replaces the work that the bottled water industry has been charging you for. If you are buying bottled water for convenience on the go, keep a reusable bottle in your car or bag. If you are buying cases of bottled water at Walmart or Costco to use at home, that is the one to cut first. This is not a small budget item. Over a year, it adds up to hundreds of dollars for many households. Item number 7. Pre-marinated meats. Pre-marinated meats. The chicken breasts in orange sauce, the pork loin in herb butter, the teriyaki beef strips look like a great shortcut, and sometimes they are fine. But more often than not, you are paying a meaningful premium for what amounts to a few tablespoons of sauce and salt water. Meat producers and retailers are allowed to add water, salt, and solution to raw meat up to a certain percentage of weight and still sell it as fresh. Pre-marinated products in particular often have significant added water weight built into the price. You are paying meat prices for a product that is partially water and marinade. When I started reading labels on pre-marinated products, I noticed that the sodium content is often extremely high. Sometimes more than a third of the daily recommended intake in a single serving. And the flavors are frequently artificial or overly sweet to compensate for the lower quality cuts they tend to use. Making your own marinade takes 5 minutes. A basic marinade for chicken or pork is oil, an acid like lemon juice or vinegar, and whatever seasoning you like. You can marinate something overnight in the refrigerator, and it will taste far better than the pre-marinated version you would have paid extra for. If you are buying pre-marinated meats because you feel like you do not have time to cook, I understand that, but consider making a batch of marinade on Sunday and prepping for the week in one session. The time investment is smaller than it seems. You deserve to control what goes into your food. Pre-marinated products take that away and charge you for the privilege. Item number 8. Instant oatmeal packets. Instant oatmeal packets are something I used to buy every single week without a second thought. They felt healthy, they felt practical, and they were fast. And then I did the comparison, and I have not bought a box since. A box of individual instant oatmeal packets, something like 8 to 10 single-serve pouches, costs around $4 to $6 depending on the brand. That works out to somewhere between 50 cents and 75 cents per serving. A 32-ounce canister of plain old-fashioned rolled oats costs about the same amount and makes somewhere between 30 and 40 servings. We are talking about pennies per bowl versus nearly $1 per packet. And the packets themselves? They are mostly oats with sugar, salt, artificial flavor, and thickening agents. They are not nutritionally equivalent to plain oats. The instant varieties are more processed and have a higher glycemic index. You are paying more for a product that is, in a meaningful sense, less healthy. I now buy a large canister of rolled oats, cook them in under 5 minutes on the stove, and add my own toppings: brown sugar, cinnamon, a sliced banana, whatever I have. The texture is better, the cost is dramatically lower, and I know exactly what is in the bowl. If you truly cannot function without the microwave convenience, at minimum, buy a larger container of quick oats and portion them yourself into small containers. You get the same speed for a fraction of the cost. Oatmeal is supposed to be an economical choice. The packet version has converted a cheap food into an expensive habit. Item number 9. Fancy granola bars, the one I warned you about. Okay, this is the one I warned you about at the top. And I want you to really listen to this, because I was personally buying this product for years and feeling good about it. Granola bars, specifically the premium, health-forward ones that come in beautiful packaging and claim to have clean ingredients and superfoods and no artificial anything. I spent months buying these bars, the kind that cost $12 to $15 for a box of 10 or 12 bars. I thought I was making a smart, healthy choice for my family. I thought the premium price meant premium quality. When I actually read the ingredient labels and compared them to much cheaper alternatives, the differences were smaller than I expected. In many cases, the primary ingredients, rolled oats, honey, nuts, dried fruit, were the same. The main things driving the price up were the branding, the packaging aesthetic, the health halo marketing, and the retail placement at eye level in the health food section. A box of store-brand granola bars at Walmart or Aldi can run $3 to $4 for a similar number of bars. The ingredient list is often nearly identical. If you want to go one step further, you can make a batch of homemade granola bars for under $2 that will last a week. Oats, nut butter, honey, and whatever mix-ins you like. Bake them, let them set, cut them into bars, done. I felt almost embarrassed when I realized how long I had been paying a premium, essentially, for good packaging and clever marketing copy. This is how the grocery industry works. They identify products that health-conscious consumers feel good about, attach premium positioning to them, and charge accordingly. The food itself is often not worth the markup. Do not pay for the box. Pay for what is inside the box. Item number 10. Store brand organic produce. This one requires a little nuance because I am not saying organic produce is bad or not worth buying. I am saying that the price premium attached to organic labels varies enormously depending on the product, and for some items you are almost certainly paying more without getting a meaningfully different result. The Environmental Working Group publishes an annual list often called the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. The dirty dozen are the fruits and vegetables where conventional farming tends to leave the most pesticide residue. Things like strawberries, spinach, peaches. The clean 15 are items where the conventional version tends to test very low for residue. Things like avocados, pineapples, onions, asparagus, and sweet corn. If you are spending extra on organic avocados or organic onions, you are almost certainly not getting any meaningful difference in pesticide exposure. The thick skins on these items protect the edible portion naturally. You are paying an organic premium for a product that statistically does not need it. I looked at this research about a year ago and changed my shopping accordingly. I buy organic for items on the Dirty Dozen list where it matters. For items on the Clean 15, I buy conventional and save the difference. My grocery bill went down noticeably and nothing about my family's food changed. The Clean 15 list is free to look up and takes about 2 minutes to read. It is worth bookmarking. Not every organic label represents a real benefit to you. Some of them just represent a higher price. Item number 11. Single-serve frozen meals. Single-serve frozen meals, the individual portions in the plastic trays, occupy a strange position in the grocery store. They feel like a budget option because freezer aisle prices seem low. But when you compare cost per serving against buying the same ingredients and making a larger batch yourself, the math does not hold up. A single-serve frozen pasta or rice bowl from a brand name label typically runs $3 to $5. That is one meal. If you buy a pound of pasta, a can of diced tomatoes, some garlic, and a little olive oil, you are spending roughly the same amount and feeding 4 people. The cost per meal drops dramatically. Beyond the cost issue, single-serve frozen meals are often high in sodium and preservatives. Manufacturers rely on salt as a primary flavor carrier because the freezing and reheating process dulls flavor, so sodium content tends to be significantly elevated. I used to keep a stash of these for nights when I did not feel like cooking. Then I started batch cooking on weekends, making a big pot of something, portioning it into containers, and freezing my own single-serve meals. I get the exact same convenience. I know exactly what is in the food, and the cost is a fraction. If you are buying single-serve frozen meals regularly for convenience, batch cooking is the real answer. It feels like more work up front, but it is actually less work and less money over time. Convenience is worth paying something for. But the frozen meal industry has figured out that consumers will pay a lot more than convenience is actually worth. Item number 12. Bagged salad kits. Bagged salad kits have become genuinely popular, and I understand why. They look good, they come with the dressing and the toppings already inside, and they feel like a complete meal solution. But the cost per serving is very high, and the product itself has some real drawbacks. A typical bagged salad kit runs between $4 and $7 at most grocery stores. It contains mostly chopped romaine or cabbage, the cheapest possible greens, along with a small pouch of dressing and a tiny bag of toppings. The amount of actual food in the bag is often less than it appears, and the shelf life is short. Many people have had the experience of buying a salad kit and finding it starting to deteriorate within a couple of days. When I compared the cost of building a similar salad from whole ingredients, a head of romaine, some shredded cabbage, a handful of whatever toppings I wanted, homemade or store-brand dressing, the savings were significant, and the whole ingredient version stayed fresh much longer. I checked the ingredient panels on several popular salad kit dressings, and they are typically standard bottled dressing with preservatives. There is nothing special about them. You are paying for the convenience of having it all in one bag. If you love salad kits because they make you eat more salad, that is a legitimate reason to keep buying them occasionally. Eating more vegetables is worth something. But if you are buying them every single week without thinking about it, try building your own for a month and see if the cost difference gets your attention. The salad kit is a convenience product priced accordingly. Know what you are paying for. Item number 13. Flavored nuts and trail mix. Plain nuts are an excellent food. They are nutritious, satisfying, and a genuinely good value when you buy them in bulk. But the moment you add flavoring, roasting, a special seasoning blend, or a fancy label, the price jumps considerably and the quality of what you are eating often goes down. Flavored nut products, the honey roasted cashews, the chili lime almonds, the everything bagel seasoned mixed nuts, carry a significant markup over their plain counterparts. And the flavoring itself often means added sugar, salt, and sometimes artificial ingredients. You are paying more for a nutritionally inferior version of the same food. Trail mix is a similar story. Pre-packaged trail mix at most grocery stores is about 70% filler, the cheapest possible peanuts, raisins, and dried cranberries, with a small amount of the more expensive ingredients like cashews or macadamia nuts mixed in. You pay a premium, but you get mostly the cheap stuff. When I started buying plain roasted almonds or cashews in bulk, the cost difference was obvious. And making my own trail mix, combining whatever nuts, seeds, and dried fruit I wanted in the proportions I actually liked, cost me less and tasted better. Bulk sections at stores like Whole Foods or Sprouts are ideal for this. You buy exactly what you need at a much better price per ounce. Plain nuts are an excellent purchase. Fancy flavored nut products are a significantly worse one. Item number 14. Pre-made guacamole. Pre-made guacamole, especially the individual single-serve cups and the brand name containers, is one of the better examples of the grocery industry taking an extremely simple product and charging dramatically more for a convenience version. Guacamole is avocado, lime, salt, and whatever else you want to put in it. The core product is incredibly simple to make. And yet pre-made guacamole regularly sells for $3 to $5 for a container that might include 2 avocados worth of fruit, at a time when avocados themselves might cost you $1 or less each depending on the season. The pre-made version also contains preservatives to extend shelf life and maintain color. Those preservatives affect the flavor. Anyone who has made fresh guacamole and then tasted a commercial version side by side has noticed that the commercial version has a slightly off, almost metallic quality compared to freshly made. I make guacamole from scratch regularly now. It takes about 4 minutes. Mash 2 avocados, squeeze half a lime, add salt, done. You can add onion, cilantro, jalapeno, tomato if you want. But even the bare minimum version is dramatically better than the pre-made product and costs a fraction of the price. The only scenario where pre-made guacamole makes sense is if you need a large quantity very quickly and do not have ripe avocados on hand. For regular use, it is an easy and worthwhile thing to make yourself. 4 minutes of effort for a meaningfully better product at a meaningfully lower cost. That is a good trade. Item number 15. Grocery store bakery bread. I want to end with this one because it represents something slightly different from most of the other items on this list. Grocery store bakery bread. The loaves sitting in the bakery section that smell wonderful and look freshly made is not always what it appears to be. Many grocery store bakery departments do not bake from raw ingredients on site. They receive par-baked or frozen dough that has been partially cooked elsewhere, and they finish it in the store oven. The bread is then sold at a premium bakery price even though it has not been produced the way traditional bakery bread is made. This practice is common and legal, but most consumers do not know about it. The pricing reflects the perceived value of fresh bakery bread rather than the actual production cost. A standard bakery loaf might run $4 to $6. A comparable store-brand sandwich bread is often under $2. And artisan bread from an actual local bakery, where someone genuinely baked it from flour and water and yeast, is often available for a similar or only slightly higher price than the grocery store bakery version. I started buying from a local bakery near me about once a week. The bread is genuinely better. It keeps well. And I feel good about supporting a local business rather than paying a premium to a national grocery chain for something that was shipped in partially frozen. If artisan bakery bread is not in your budget regularly, the store-brand sandwich bread is the logical choice over the grocery store bakery section. Do not pay a premium for an experience that is not what it appears to be. Know what you are actually buying. That applies to bread and to everything else on this list. So here is what connects all 15 of these items. They are all products where the grocery industry has identified a consumer desire: convenience, health, quality, freshness, and built a price structure around that desire rather than around the actual cost of the product. You are not paying for what is in the package. You are paying for what the package makes you feel. And the good news is that once you see this pattern, you cannot unsee it. You start walking through the store differently. You start reading labels differently. You start asking yourself whether the premium you are paying represents a real benefit or a perceived one. Most people are not going to do this. Most people are going to keep grabbing the same products on autopilot week after week and wondering why the grocery bill never seems to go down no matter how carefully they think they are shopping. But you now have a different frame for looking at this. You know which categories carry the biggest markups. You know where convenience is genuinely valuable and where it is simply expensive. You know the specific swaps that take almost no effort and produce real savings over time. This is not about deprivation. It is not about eating worse or cooking everything from scratch. It is about paying for what you are actually getting and not paying for what you are not. The grocery industry is extraordinarily good at separating you from your money while making you feel like you are making smart choices. The best defense you have is information. And now you have a little more of it. Start with 2 or 3 swaps from this list. See how it feels. See if the savings are real for your household. I think you are going to be surprised by how quickly they add up. If this video gave you even one thing to think about differently, please hit the subscribe button. We cover topics like this every week. Real, practical information that helps people navigate the financial pressures of everyday life. Leave a comment below and tell me which item on this list surprised you the most. I read every comment, and I genuinely want to know what resonated with you. If you know someone who could benefit from this information, a friend, a family member, someone who is struggling with their grocery budget, Share this video with them. This is exactly the kind of content that is worth passing on. I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourself and take care of your budget.